Yeah, I'm just not sure. The jury's out on downtown Detroit.
George Sboukis, owner of the Caucus Club, thank you for joining us today on One Detroit. George, your restaurant has been closed down since March 15th. Do you have any idea when you'll be up and going again?
No, I presumed about a month ago that we would be into June, just based on how things were going, but I don't really have an idea at this point.
So what has happened to your employees? What has happened to your business during this period, George?
Well, the business is effectively just done for now. My employees are collecting unemployment, the ones that have been able to file. I've been in touch with key employees. I've been trying to stay in touch with them via email, but it's hard with everything that's going on for everybody to communicate.
But you've been able to pay your bills and stay alive as a business?
Yeah, that Monday, I contacted my bank and made sure that I have an S loan. I actually have two, that those would be furloughed or forbearance for those loans for at least 3 months.
Okay.
Anything with my home mortgage, and then I applied for unemployment myself.
Okay.
And I was able to receive some benefits, but we're just kind of waiting and seeing.
George, how much longer can you last? I mean, when is your drop dead date in terms of you have to get your restaurant up and going again?
Well, I think, as I told you in my email, we did receive funding with the PPP, and that's been kind of the big mystery. Is we've got some money, but there's not a whole lot of useful direction on how to help us here in Michigan. I think the intentions were good. It was a national program, a federal program, but every state has been affected differently, and every county within each state has been affected differently. And for us, to use that money for 75% for payroll, when I have employees that are very happy, some of them, the ones I've been in contact with the unemployment that they're receiving, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. For starters, we're in downtown Detroit in the financial district. We don't have attached parking lot. Carry out doesn't make sense for us. There's no curbside programming down there. It's a tough parking situation in the Penobscot building. And not to mention, we're not really near a number of neighborhoods. We primarily service the business people in Detroit, and those people are all at home.
Now, George, you've seen the reopening guidelines from the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association, the things that you'll have to do before you reopen and after you reopen, whenever that time comes. Are those doable requirements? Can you meet those requirements and still operate profitably?
Many of those guidelines are things that we, as restaurateurs, already do.
The cleaning.
In terms of the cleaning and the self-hygiene. Some of the things were pretty redundant. The things that are that affect us the most are the distancing and the bar. The Caucus Club has a big, vibrant bar scene. That's where most of our regulars come to. It's effectively shutting that area down.
And a very good bourbon selection, if I might add.
Thank you.
So,
and Scotch.
George, the guidelines say at a bar, bar stools 6 feet apart. You don't expect much traffic with that kind of requirement in place? No.
In fact, I met my bartender down there recently, and we kind of tried to make sense of it. And that would we'd go from 13 down to maybe being able to service 4 to 6 guests. And because I'm assuming people are going to come in as couples, but if they're coming in from a business environment, then they're supposed to be distancing. So it's effectively just, kind of ruined the bar.
How big a piece of your business is that?
That's where most of our regular business comes from. That, again, we're in the financial district, in a downtown environment. That's where people are meeting up for lunch, or meeting up afterwards for drinks after their business day is done, and then maybe meeting up for dinner. The other thing is, again, unlike suburban restaurants, we service a lot of big groups, a lot of business dinners during the week, especially.
So, George, when you look at you have a fairly tight restaurant there in the Penobscot building. Will you be able to space your tables out for lunch and dinner service to meet the requirements of the reopening?
So I think that won't be an issue. We'll just not set the tables that basically fall into the area that would be forbidden because of this distancing guidelines. But on the weekend, on Saturday night, which is our busiest night, to basically effectively be halving our business, how am I supposed to make that up? The landlord's not being responsive to any communication. I've emailed. I've been waiting over a month. I emailed 3 times and I have no response. So there's no negotiation for the rent. And I think, as you know, that PPP money, only 25% of it can be allocated towards rent and utilities. We're already. I'm losing a quarter of the year, a full quarter of a financial year to being closed down. The money just doesn't make sense on how it's supposed to be used.
So you keep hearing that restaurants may be able to open in a month or so at 25, 30, maybe 50% capacity. Can most restaurateurs open at that level and still make their nut, still stay alive?
It depends on the kind of restaurant. If you're casual dining, if your food translates well into a carry-out type of format, then fine. But the thing is, white tablecloth entertainment venue. We have live music. People are coming there to socialize, to unwind. There's no being able to package that up and put it into an Uber driver's vehicle and send it home. I had to make a business plan and take it to the bank. The business plan, pretty much entails everything that I just discussed. You're taking that and you're throwing it out the window. You're asking to reinvent your business. How can you be concerned when we don't even know what we're supposed to be anymore?
And you believe you can recover your employees at the end of this?
Very confident that the kitchen staff are going to be able to come back. I'm worried about my service staff. I'm worried about what they're reading. I'm worried about the panic that still exists on social media. And they're smart. My service staff is very veteran staff, and they're probably wondering how we're going to make a go of this.
George, how confident are you that you can keep your staff and customers safe?
Well, again, I think it depends on who you're talking to. Everything that we do at the table is refreshed every time a guest sits down anyway. We're a white tablecloth facility. So, but I just don't know what the mindset of the guest is going to be.
Finally, George, we've been hearing some pretty dire predictions that perhaps 3 out of 4 restaurants will not survive this. Do you believe those numbers?
Well, I'll say this. Restaurant people in general they're a unique breed. They're going up against great odds to begin with. Restaurants are really difficult to start up and then to maintain. So I wouldn't underestimate restaurateurs in their ability to be scrappy and figure out a way to stay open. Again, I'm just really concerned about the whole downtown aspect of it. Are the other businesses going to come back to work, or are they going to be working from home virtually? If that's the case, then that eliminates a huge segment of our daily traffic. So I'm just not sure. The jury's out on downtown Detroit.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.